So let me just give the background for the new people. Selfless Self is a radical activist. He's been in quite a few other movements, and his second big passion is music. He does a lot of drumming. So he hooked into, I don't want to call it anti-Scientology. I think this is one of the dilemmas where Selfless is, quote, retiring his channel. He made an announcement that he would say, which he did, that his channel is going to go away. So the basic gist is he's going to be leaving the movement. The problem is, which movement are we talking about? And secondly, the channel will be up formally for a while, for about a month, and he's going to take it away. And that's where we are. Now, the primary reason, he says, is just dealing with a lot of mental issues, and he just doesn't feel wanted and wants to leave. Doesn't feel comfortable with a lot of the people, whoever you're going to call them. And he didn't specifically name names. And he made a lot of different accusations and charges and theses. And Selfless is many things, but he's not stupid. So he's a very well-educated man. However, I will have to call out two things. So one is he's sort of disillusioned with this fighting. Again, for the new people, the main figures are Aaron Smith-Levin, Nora, Liz Gale, Marilyn, but also DOA, and the really big loyalist DOA, Stick a Chick, so on and so forth. It's just a lot of personalities. And he's just tired. He's tired of the back and forth. And he also feels that he wasn't really protected because, again, I've not done too much, quote, on the street against Scientology. So I can't really speak to that. I have done quite a few protests, but, and I got to be totally honest, with this new crowd, I just would not feel comfortable. They seem to be very inexperienced, very dodgy, and just don't trust them. It's just what it is. So, but if you guys want to take a chance and go out in the streets with these people, hey, that is your choice. But I would not be within a mile radius of these people. But that said, he did take to the streets. You can't take that away from him. And unlike Aaron, this is not all showy, performative stuff. He actually is trying to do a real protest. Now, whether he did it the right way, that we can debate. I think him and Pro Snappy have, to put him Holly, a lot to be desired, but we'll put that aside. So his own story is fairly simple. He saw Pro Snappy and a few others and said, okay, I want to do that. He started streaming his own protests. And away we go. He allied with Scott, DOA, and Pro Snappy in that faction. And what, I guess, roughly a year and 4 months. It started off pretty early. I guess around February or March last year, there were schisms, and then it just broke open with Louis Repetto, Lindsay, just a lot of scandals and issues emerging. And then the Jenna thing happened a few months ago. So it's just been a lot of issues and crises. And he's tired and he wants to take care of himself. And he's like, I don't want to be here anymore. He feels that his integrity and character has been decimated for no reason. But let me not forget, there are two things. One is that, and he does admit this, like he does take some blame, that in terms of doing these kind of silly confrontational tactics, which, good or bad, get you views. I mean, Nora just did this. And again, I'm a little skeptical she really got like tens of thousands of views, but that's just me. But anyway, but it does get you views. So you're kind of stuck, right? If you do this kind of very showy Streets LA, Aaron kind of content, you do get views and you do get subscribers. But as Selfless says, the content then being produced kind of makes it into a complete joke. So it doesn't really hurt Scientology. So what was the point? I guess it made you money, got you some attention, but that's about it. And then there's a second thing he complained about. And again, he was guilty of it somewhat, although I would defend him there. He wasn't as bad as many other people. That self-promotion, like promoting yourself, promoting your brand, was something he saw with the people he interacted with. He doesn't name names, but unfortunately, I know enough. I'm not going to betray any sources, but we have to name some names. So it's, right, Aaron, Surge, Streets LA, DOA, and so on and so forth. And again, I want to be careful because him and DOA have gone back and forth. But he doesn't talk about him specifically, but he says that there are about, 10 channels? And that's correct. Like these 10 bigger channels that kind of just control the situation, right? They control the conversation. Whether it's Nora, Natalie, Jenna, or Aaron, or Streets, or whoever, and you gotta follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, they punish you, they attack you, they try to destroy you. It's just what it is. If they can't completely control you, they try to basically exile you and put you in a little corner and get rid of you. So it's just a very mafia system. But as he says, he was kind of part of it too, because he was badgering activists by himself, right? Him and Pro Snappy went after Jay, Ellie, a few other people. They're not guiltless, and he does admit, yeah, he did some bad things too. So it's kind of a very mixed record, and I can find a lot of fault with Selfless, but there's a lot there to admire too, because at least he was much more raw and passionate than the other people. But I can't lie, guys. I'm in a bit of a dire strait myself. I'm really desperately searching for new things, jobs, and other things. And it's like there's a thing here, like where I hope a lot of people archive his work because I don't know what I can do. I mean, like, because I'm having my issues on my own with everything, the phone and laptop. So I just can't store like a ton of his stuff. I can't. Hopefully, I'll archive one or two big videos and try to do some commentaries to leave behind a record because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't want to speak ill of Doug Scott Kramer, but good or bad, Doug tragically passing left us a good archive. I mean, I don't want to be brutal in that way, but it's true. I mean, you can go to Doug's channel. It's a big treasure trove of information. And it's unfortunately very relevant because what Doug talked about is what came about, that there's a very controlled opposition. And Selfless is like, yeah, it's controlled opposition, but again, I want to be emphasized, it's for personal reasons. He just feels personally taxed, right? He's exhausted, and he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I gotta survive. So I'm gonna leave. But again, it's like that to me is the most important question here: is what are we leaving? I don't think it's anti-Scientology. So what is it? Is it the Aaron movement? Growing up in Scientology, the ex-Scientology people? I don't know. I don't know. I can only speak for myself. I've kind of stayed free of Lara, Scott, but also Aaron and Jenna. But Self did not. He did mix in with Lara, Serge, and DOA. And he says, yeah, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to move on. Okay, but then what are we leaving? What do we get into? I don't know. It's all very vague. It's all very vague. And I get it that there's still this whole thing about stay in, educate, whatever, be an activist. But again, it's like, just doesn't want to stay. Doesn't want to stay. And he doesn't feel properly respected. But I'm trying to be here as neutral as possible, be informative as possible. There's an alleged controversy with him with quote DV. Now, is that true? I don't know. I don't know specifics. DOA, when he had a big back and forth with Selfless, is like, no, this is real. Selfless wasn't really denying it, but there we are. So I don't know. I don't know. There's just a lot of dilemmas and dimensions to these controversies. So, but good faith, he is just trying to repair himself, right? And he's been kind of honest in other streams. If you catch up to other streams, he's like, yeah, he's had a lot of mental issues for some time. So, just doesn't feel comfortable anymore. Then there we are. I will have to probably do one more commentary on the Louis Repetto issue because that is a massive, massive dilemma. And he talked about it a little bit, but he was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of disillusioned about that too. So yeah, it's just a very, kind of depressing video, but it is what it is. Hopefully he does better. It is a kind of sad commentary. I'm going to close on that. Marilyn celebrated her 2-year anniversary. And for those who don't know, Marilyn's this very fanatical kind of Aaron Smith Levin loyalist. Although that was not always her identity. She's, she is what she is. She's a cultist. She was in one cult, moved to another cult. This is technically her third cult. So, this is what it is. It's just you have these alleged cult survivors, but they're not really survivors at all. They're just scam artists, and they're just looking for a new scam. And that's it. And they find the new scam with Aaron or whoever, and it's like, this is a new scam. And again, to give Selfless a lot of points, he does take some responsibility that, it's kind of part of the problem. And he's going to leave. And there we are. So this is the end of Selfless. Maybe, maybe not. But it's the end of that particular channel and that iteration. So give those videos a chance before they're gone, because apparently they will be going away soon. There we are.